Hello, my name is Yamashita. I teach English at Juntendo University in Japan, and I belong to the Faculty of Health Science and Nursing. Today, I'm very happy to be given an opportunity to talk about the implementation of VR techniques in Japan. Now, today I'm going to focus on my own research on the development of a medical English ESP learning model using VR space. Now, I would like to begin with the background of my present research I'm now doing. Okay, with the spread of COVID-19, online classes implementing web conferencing systems such as Zoom are becoming more common. But since 2017, I have already been working in collaboration with the Department of Nursing at Jyväskylä University of Applied Sciences in Finland. We have aimed to build a simple synchronous and asynchronous learning environment for our joint classes between Juntendo University and Jyväskylä University of Applied Sciences. This is a kind of a pilot study of an ESP program. Okay. And why I have chosen Finland. Okay. First thing is that Japan and Finland have share a big problem in common. It's an aging problem. As you may know, that aging rate in Japan is approximately 30%. Okay, aging rate means that the percentage of the people who are over 65 years old against the whole population. This is slightly less than 30% in Japan. This is the world highest rate. And Finland also has a very high aging rate. It is about 23%. This is the second highest in the world. So we would like to talk about a good solution or discuss a good solution about these aging problems that our society is going to tackle with. And the Yamuku University, Yamuku means Jyväskylä University of Applied Sciences. In Finnish language, it is Jyväskylän Ammattikorkeakoulu. So this is abbreviated to Yamuku. Okay, Yamuku University has a very international learning environment. There are students from countries such as African and Arabic countries, Eastern and Southern Europe, of course, not to mention Asian countries from Thailand, China, Taiwan, and of course, Vietnam, yes. This is a very good environment for to learn English as an internationally auxiliary language. So I think that the student will be able to study with their peers from different languages, cultures, and nationalities, and can improve their medical competence with a tolerant attitude while confronting differences in values and culture. Our students are expected to develop their outgoing English language skills while improving their medical competence in a confrontational and tolerant attitude toward the value and cultural differences. Okay, so of course this pilot study has a lot of benefits to our students. As a result, real-time interaction in English with overseas faculty members and students has become possible. Even through the screen, and many of the participating students felt a fresh sense of international communication that they had not experienced in conventional classes, and they have shown a greater willingness to learn English. However, after a certain period of implementation, it has become clear that there are some limitations to this teaching method, as many of the participating students requested improvements, such as not being able to have the same sense of conversation as when they were in the classroom, or feeling that they are not sharing the same space, that they have become passive and listened to the young students. Of course, that there are some criticism from the Finnish side. Okay, they have also expressed their desire for mutual understanding. The Finnish side also commented that even if we can recognize each other's face on the screen, the sense of spatial separation between us and other person does not change. Certainly, with two-dimensional screens such as Zoom, which is a mainstream method these days, participants' faces only line up on the screen, which tend to remain conventional one-way communication and make it difficult for interaction between students to function in some situations. As a result, even if the scene is suitable for intrinsic motivation, a sense of presence is not created, and it tends to be difficult to gain a sense of immersion in the class. So, in this research or in this study, I have focused on the fact that spatial mobility in a 3D virtual space has a characteristic of increasing coexistence in the learning space and facilitating the elicitation of speech, and constructed a step-up learning method using tasks arranged in order of difficulty in 3D virtual space, with a special focus on cultivating the ability to communicate. This is what I'm going to do in my research. In order to enhance a sense of presence among participants, the present study implements and constructs a 3D virtual learning space that enables learning activities similar to those in a classroom in a real space. But actually, to create the VR environment from scratch costs a huge amount of money, so it is not practical. Instead, I have decided to use for this study the VR learning spaces which have been already developed by the Nordic company named Find as a learning platform. The platform is named Core. It is imported and introduced to Japan by the company named AVR Japan, which is in Tokyo. Within this learning space, participating students can use the voice chat function to respond to the voices of other participants coming from the omnidirectional speakers in the HMD head-mount display. This space is also implemented so that students can reflect their own torso and limb movement on their avatars using the attached controller, and each student can project the screen of the PC they are actually using onto the whiteboard set up in the space using the screen sharing function. Next, we need to think of student activities that should be carried out in the VR environment. For these activities, I have divided the Step-Up COIL collaborative online international learning model for students to develop 3 skills, which are English proficiency, international co-creation, and medical literacy. This step-up learning model is developed with 3 graded outgoing tasks arranged in the order of difficulty. This is the core of the learning activities to be carried out within the VR space. As for the topics for medical literacy, each step will be related to aging-related issues such as health promotion, geron technology, and the comprehensive community care, which are frequently requested by students from both countries who participated in the previous pilot study. With regard to the effective sequencing of tasks to enhance English proficiency, the SSARC Simplify, Stabilize, Automatize, Restructure, Complexify model, which was put forward by Robinson, is used as a reference. He graded those tasks on the basis of cognitive complexity. They are arranged in the way that learners will be able to step up from simple tasks to more complex tasks. In addition, the idea of 5 abilities have been adopted in order to strengthen the student attitude to learning English. They are actually situational grasp, situational analysis, situational judgment, situational prediction, and situational awareness, all of which are similarly required of nurses. In addition, I have attempted to arrange the tasks in such a way that students are clearly aware of the 5 levels of competency required of nurses, namely, understanding the situation, analyzing the situation, predicting the situation, and improving the situation. This is a conceptual diagram of this research. In step 1, the topic is placed on health promotion. Through an intimacy-oriented task, a presentation is given on the screen set up in the space. Students are introducing health activities targeting elderly people in different countries and the role of the public health nurse. Through question and answer sessions and interviews, the participants develop mutual understanding among each other and develop cooperative learning that fosters solidarity while building close interpersonal relationship. And in the step 2, the topic is geron technology. Through a difference finding task, students produce each other with information on care robots and AI from each other's country and make a presentation comparing and analyzing this information. By introducing the actual situation in Japan to young students and comparing and analyzing them, mutual understanding and awareness of the heterogeneity and homogeneity between different cultures will be promoted. In step 3, the topic is comprehensive community care. Through the consensus building task, mixed international groups from 5 to 6 members are formed with young students. They are expected to exchange opinions and hold discussions on the theme of home nursing, which is expected to become increasingly important in many countries in the future, and reach a consensus in the group. A collaborative presentation will be given on the idea of international co-creation. And finally, in Japan's public education, there are still few examples of introducing classes in VR space. However, I sincerely hope that in the future, more and more young people will incorporate these technologies and aim. This is a conceptual diagram of this research. In the step 1, the topic is health promotion. Through an intimacy-oriented task, a presentation is given on a screen set up in the space. Students are introducing health activities targeting elderly people in different countries and the roles of the public health nurses. Through question and answer session and interviews, the participants develop mutual understanding among each other and develop cooperative learning that fosters solidarity while building close interpersonal relationships. And step 2, the topic is Geron technology. Through a difference-finding task, students provide each other with information on care robots and AI from each other's country and make a presentation comparing and analyzing this information. By introducing the actual situation in Japan to young students and comparing and analyzing them, mutual understanding and awareness of the heterogeneity and homogeneity between different cultures will be promoted. In step 3, the topic is comprehensive community care. Through the consensus building task, mixed multilingual groups are formed with young students. The number of the students in each group is about 5. They are expected to exchange opinions and hold discussions on the theme of home nursing, which is expected to become increasingly important in many countries in the future, and reach a consensus in the group. A collaborative presentation will be given on the idea of international co-creation. Finally, in Japan's public education, there are still few examples of introducing classes in VR space. However, I sincerely hope that in the future, more and more young people will incorporate these technologies and aim to create new classroom environment. Thank you very much for listening.